Hey folks, here I am in Michigan. We made it. It was a great trip. It was, Annalise was a gem the whole way, and now we just had a lovely day here. And I wanted to do this post outside because this right here, this image right here, this beach, this lake, and these trees even to some extent, it's like this is kind of like just has been an image for me ever since I was about Annalise's age, you know, toddler age. It was a happy place for me. It was like my perfect place. I remember my mom did an exercise with me when I was about probably 5, I think. I think it was a S training, like Werner Erhard thing back in the day. This is like, you know, early 80s, early 80s, maybe even late 70s, depending on how old I was. And the exercise was to imagine a place where you're perfectly happy, where it's like you just feel completely happy. And my happy place was always Crystal Lake. And it was right over there, lying on the beach, right there. And the sound, you know, when the sailboats are out there, there'll be like a sailboat just on the beach, and the wind comes and kind of knocks the halyard against the mast. And that sound was like a happy sound. Like that sound has become associated with this place. So now when I hear that sound other places, I still think I'm at Crystal Lake. And so yeah, there's just a lot of history with this place and a lot of kind of beauty that comes through for me. And I think I also just had a wonderful experience of, so we got here last night, and Annalise didn't want to sleep in her crib. She's in a room with 2 bunk beds, and she wanted to sleep in the bottom bunk of the bunk beds. She's about the right age to transition out of her crib, although, you know, some kids go another year before, you know, until they're almost 4 before they are out of their crib. But she wanted to sleep in the bed, and she slept in the bed last night, wouldn't go under the covers. But tonight I put her to sleep, and I tucked her under the covers. For the first time ever, I tucked her into bed, not her crib, an actual bed. And I suspect that when we get back to Albuquerque, she will not be having the whole crib thing anymore. We may have just turned a corner. So in the light of all this kind of beautiful kind of, you know, memory / forward evolution that I'm witnessing, something that came through today, I was thinking, I think this was during meditation, or maybe I was still in bed, maybe I was still asleep, but I was thinking about, what came through to me really powerfully was any extent to which I'm worried about making money or what I'm going to do, any of that energy or any of that thinking that creeps in, the answer is always to resolve who I'm serving. Whom am I serving with what I'm doing? So if I'm worried about not making money, either through my piano program or through my playing or through my writing, songwriting, whatever it is that I'm worried about not, you know, being sustained by it or being rewarded enough by it, the question to answer isn't will I be sustained by this? Will I make enough money from this? Will it come back to me enough? The question is, whom am I serving? And that somehow that thing linked up in my mind this morning. And of course, you know, it kind of makes total sense in the context of what I've been talking about for the last several days with this conversation with my mom, and reading Buckminster Fuller and his expressions about this. And so I think maybe I've just been inviting this realization into my own psyche, because it had to kind of take shape. You know, reading Bucky is just, it's like spectacular to witness his revelation in that area. But we still have to have our own revelation. You know, reading someone else's revelation about something like that is fantastic, and it's not that it's not important, but it's not the same thing as having that revelation. And something this morning kind of clicked where I was like, oh, I just need to stop worrying about whether I'm going to be okay, and I need to start thinking about whom can I serve? Whom do I serve? Who needs what I have? And it's like both a huge relief, because it means I don't have to solve the unsolvable problem of, will I be sustained by this? You know, and that, I think that maybe that's also, there's a nugget of truth in there, a kernel of realization in that, because the question, will I be sustained by this? Will I be good enough? Will I make it? Is an unanswerable question. There is no answer to that question. There literally is no answer to that question. I mean, you know, some people would say the answer is yes. The answer is obviously yes. You know, you're in an abundant universe. The answer is yes. But what the mind and what the ego are searching for in that moment is certainty that that will be the case, and that is not available. It simply doesn't exist. It's not an answer that the mind is going to find. But whom am I serving is an answer that we absolutely can find. It may not be one single answer, but there'll be all kinds of insights and all kinds of real revelation there, if we think about that question and we try to answer that question. And I just realized there's movement in that, and there's I relax. You know, I both start directing my energy outward and in a way that makes what I'm doing way more effective. And I also relax inwardly, because the focus of my drive is towards whom can I serve? What am I doing? What do they need? What do people, what can I do to make life better for people? As opposed to, am I gonna survive by doing this? You know, which is just a totally different direction of energy. And so, letting that really kind of come through, and when I felt it this morning in my mind, I just felt those two things kind of gunk, and my mind was like, this one is really this one. Like, this question, actually, you want to ask this question instead. And it just felt really good. Felt really nice to allow that to come through. And what a beautiful context for that to happen. I know that about this place. I know that about Crystal Lake. Things come through up here, you know, spiritual insights and emotional, psychological insights come through up here in a way that they almost don't anywhere else. And that's maybe one of the most beautiful things to both inherit and bequeath, you know, from my grandparents, great-grandparents, parents, Aunt Annalise, whom I just tucked into bed for the first time. Oh my God. She's becoming a big girl. But yeah, that's where I am today. Can't wait to show you this place in the daytime. Looks kind of dreary and rainy right now because it's dreary and rainy, but it's not usually like this. Anyway, people, I love you all. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for being in my life. I'll see you very soon.